Welcome back to the Global Builder's Guide. I'm Enigmius, and today we've got some crazy turtle action for you. If you remember in the last episode, kind of talked a little bit about what we're doing. The whole idea here is that we want to get turtles put to work for us so that we can build things, or more specifically have turtles build things for us without some huge headache, and then be able to share the information that allows the turtle to build those things easily with other people so they can build those things in their own worlds without having to do the whole world download, MC edit, import stuff, which is maybe more of a headache than it needs to be. And in order to do that, we need to kind of figure out exactly, first of all, how to do it, and then follow through, execute what it is we figured out. Now, if you remember in the last episode, I had sort of a tower built that's destined to be a GPS tower someday when it grows up. It is moved. It used to be pretty close to the back of this little shed here, and it was much taller. Now, the reason why it shrank and moved is because I pulled it all down once I got all of the coordinates that I needed for all the different blocks, and had the turtle rebuild what you see here, which is basically the bottom segment of the tower perfectly duplicated as I had it set up previously, which I can now build anywhere I want. I just basically have to park the turtle and give it the command to go, and it will start building. Now, we're not 100% there yet in terms of being able to duplicate the entire build. What we need in order to get to 100% is really not a whole lot at this point. So, I mean, I could talk about what the turtle did all day long, but I think it might be much more interesting if I actually show you what the turtle looks like when it's building the base of the tower. And in order to do that, I need to quickly pull down what I've got here and then reset the turtle to his home position. So we'll do that the fast way. Alright, that was easy enough. We pulled out all of the dirt blocks that were making up the tower. The turtle is back in the home position that I've kind of figured out is a good place to start. And now I just have to start up the central computer and the turtle, and we should be good to go. So the central computer just gets a bit of information about itself and then sits there waiting for a request from one of the turtles. In this case, this is the only turtle. For information of some kind. So this guy is set up to request information regarding coordinates for a particular three-dimensional space. I'm calling them chunks, but I'm probably going to change the name so people don't confuse it with the Minecraft chunks. Basically, each chunk that I'm using is a 16 by 16 by 16 block blocks. So it's requesting information for one of those related to the tower that we're trying to build. So we're going to save, we're going to exit, we're going to run it, and unless I made a mess, it should start building once it figures out once again that it cannot connect to the non-existent GPS network. There we go. Starting to move. Now there are a number of considerations. First of all, one of the things that I realized is that I had made a mistake, and it turns out that the turtles that I'm using do in fact consume fuel. So I had to account for that in the way that they're designed in terms of gathering fuel and fueling themselves up and things of that nature, which I've partially done here. But also I wanted to give a little bit of thought to how I was making the turtles move around and place blocks for something like this. I don't want them doing just like a crisscross pattern across every block in the chunk that it's working on and checking to see if it needs to place a block in each one. I would rather have it do a little bit of a test without actually moving to say, okay, where's the next place that I need to put a block, and then move directly there. You can see here in this example, it may not seem like that big of a deal, but the chunk that this turtle is working in is actually twice the size of the floor dimensions, the footprint of this tower. It would come out to something like over here. So you can imagine how much extra fuel the turtle would be wasting just doing kind of a lazy crisscross pattern, checking to see if it needs to put a block. as opposed to now where it's basically stopping and checking without actually moving, saying, okay, I'm here based on this pattern that I've been given. Where do I need to go to check for the next block? And then it just goes until it finds a block and says, okay, well, the next block is over here, so the fastest way to get there is move this direction X number of times and that direction X number of times, and there you go. Now, fortunately, turning doesn't consume any fuel, because otherwise I would have to rethink the way that I'm doing the turning algorithm. Sometimes you can see he just sits there and he seems to spin in place for a second. It's just because he's turning like 3 times when he could have just turned the other direction once, kind of thing. Low priority fix, I would have to say, but overall it's working really well. I mean, it took a little bit of time getting all of the things sorted out, because sometimes working in a 3-dimensional space in your mind gets a little bit convoluted. So really, at this point, having proof of concept, basically we can see that the tower is going into place. All I really need to do is add in the functionality to request more chunks sequentially so that this turtle could receive the rest of the pattern as it goes up, as opposed to now where it's basically, first of all, it's going to run out of materials because I haven't figured out, I haven't implemented the inventory system yet. So you can see now he's moving around trying to place blocks, but he has no more dirt in his selected slot to use, so that's easy. That's not a big deal. I was mostly wanting to make sure that this guy was actually going to maneuver properly within his designated space, putting blocks in the appropriate section. So I'm pretty confident that we've achieved that up to this point. It works much, much faster than if I were to try and do this manually, because there would, even with the jetpack, there would be a lot of hopping around and a lot of messing around and checking this and doing that. Considering I have to make a total of 4 of these when it's all said and done. Very, very handy, but also the main thing is proof of concept. It's working. I'll actually show you on the central computer momentarily here. This guy's just about done. He's trying so hard, and it's just not working because he doesn't have any dirt in the right inventory slot. Actually, we'll let him do that. We don't need to watch him and make him embarrassed. He's doing a good job. We'll head over here. The central computer will have shut down already since it already fed that 1 block to the turtle. We have edit. This is the coordinate file that I have set up that has all of the block location information for the entire tower. Now there will be a specific format for this for people who want to enter this information manually before I get the survey routines in, which will take a little while. But the whole idea with this, and this was very, very important to me, is I wanted to be able to have this set up as a separate data file, and people could share the data file without sharing any scripts, so that people who maybe aren't that big on Computercraft or Lua or any of that can still use this system when it's done without having to worry about importing random scripts from other people that may or may not be of a griefing sort of nature. I don't want people transmitting scripts back and forth. So if we limit it to just data, about the worst that could happen is you think you're building like the Taj Mahal and it ends up being a giant male genital. Better than a script that does all kinds of crazy things, digging holes through all of your facilities and things of that nature. So very important that we have this, which we do, and it'll be refined and iterated upon as we go. And then we have the central control routines, which at this point are the least complicated. Between the computer and the turtle, the computer's got the easiest job. He's basically, as I said, gathering information about where's the modem, where's the monitor, where's the drive if I have one, and then translating the script on the file or the data for whatever we're building in the file into a table that can be used easily, and then breaking it up into chunks that can be distributed to turtles. 1 turtle, 2 turtle, 10 turtles, doesn't matter. We can do building sequentially with little segments at a time, and it's really, like I say, not very big at all. So far that's working fairly well. Very, very minimalistic right now. It's missing a lot of features, and that's fine because we have to start from point A and get to point B, getting things done along the way. Eventually we will be moving a lot of the output from this onto this monitor up here, which will be particularly handy if we've got multiple turtles working on a build. so that you can read the status for, various different turtles and what's going on, and not have to enter and exit the computer itself to be able to look around. Okay, this turtle over there, he's stopped. Why is he stopped? Oh, because he's out of fuel. Let's try and get him home, or let's take him some fuel. And this guy over here, he's doing fine. Yeah, the monitor says he's doing fine. So that's the whole idea of this giant monitor here. And we'll be even adding more to that once we get the advanced monitors in place. See, this guy's finally stopped. I'm not going to fly up there and show you the routines, because really all I can tell you is that it's a lot of variables for the three-dimensional coordinates in different sort of levels. There's the absolute variables, and then there's the local variables that are working on just the space that the turtle is working in, regardless of where it is in the world, and all those other things. And some of you are thinking, like, stop it, stop talking about the... I know, that's why I do the footwork, and then eventually you get to play around with it, and you can build like a tower like this, much easier without even having to think about all the crap that goes into it. So that's what I wanted to show you today, as much to demonstrate the proof of concept as to reassure anyone that was concerned that I haven't given up on the project. That would be a record. Episode 1, hey guys, look what we're doing. Episode 2, you know what, I gave up. That would be, I think, kind of funny. Next episode, we should be building complete towers. They'll probably still be dirt, but we'll be looking at some of the refined features that we've added, how we're getting the whole tower into place. And then once the GPS is in, we should have the advanced monitors in as well, and things should start to get maybe even more interesting. So leave your comments and feedback below the video. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.